Alrighty, so today I'm here with my Kirby avalir. I'm extremely excited to own one now. I have owned a Kirby before, like I had said possibly in my previous videos. If I had mentioned that I had a Kirby, I probably told you it was a G, or an Ultimate G. It was not a Diamond Edition, but it was a pretty neat vacuum, and I ordered it from eBay used because I'd always wanted one and I just wanted to see what one was like and whatnot. So I got it, and it said that it was supposed to come with a hose, and it didn't. So I was pretty disappointed about that. It was in okay shape, but the first time I turned it on, the belt like just made a black mark on my carpet, and I had to scrub that out with Dawn dish liquid, so that was not a good experience. But I ended up returning that and saying, I was told that this thing was coming with a hose. It came with nothing. I'm extremely disappointed, and I returned it, and the seller started swearing at me and everything. And I mean, I guess in a way I shouldn't have used it if it didn't come with everything, but I didn't remember until after I started using it, looking for a spare belt possibly in the box because it was supposed to come with one. Then I was like, oh, it's supposed to have a hose. So I mean, the machine was used anyway, and I ended up sending it back relatively quickly. But that machine was okay, I guess. But this is a very lightly used machine. I got this from a girl that I work with, or no, a girl that I go to college with. She sells Kirby's, and she also works at a gas station. And she won one, or you can take a bonus. And I don't know if they only allow so many bonuses before you just get a vacuum, or what the rules are. I'm sure somebody will comment and say what they are. But I've never sold for Kirby, but I do have a Kirby in my hometown. They're just very discreet. It is a couple blocks away from my house. I didn't even know about it until she had said something to me. And she's just like, yeah, we got a Kirby. We don't tell people until they buy the vacuum that they can come down and buy bags and like shampoo and stuff like that for the vacuum. Otherwise, we don't say anything because we don't want to cause problems. And because, husbands would be going down. And a lot of people, if you just go on and type in Kirby vacuum, not only are you going to get, maybe some pictures and some history, maybe a Wikipedia here and there, but you're going to see a lot of people's complaints. And the Kirby company is like has one of the worst reps when it comes to sales tactics. It's probably not even in the vacuum world in general. A lot of people familiarize Kirby with being scam artists and whatever else. And a lot of people don't really take the time in consideration into really thinking about the vacuum that they're buying. And they're shown the demonstration because, of course, to sell the machine, but also because so many people, they know that it's an expensive machine, so they know they need to wow you. And at the same time, a lot of people complain. I'm sure there's probably a ratio of how many people who keep the machine compared to how many people end up calling back demanding for their money back and blah, 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 blah. I mean, I've heard every story in the book, and she's been honest with me. She said, we're not supposed to tell people, but I said, how much do you guys let these things go for? And she's just like, we can honestly let them go for as low as $7. And it's not the first time that I've heard it, but either way, if somebody's not going to make the full amount on you, of course they're going to take whatever they can get. You know, of course they're not going to start out at 7, but they're not going to leave before they get down to a certain point and then say, okay, nope. They'll sell it to you for $700. They're still making money. It's still a sale. Whether they're making as much or not, just because you're getting them so low, they're not going to decline and say never mind. So if you're really looking into purchasing one of these, to me, unless the salesperson is honestly that confident that they're going to make a sale somewhere else selling it more, then they'll sell it to you for as low as they can go. And I believe it's just around $700-800. You may end up losing out on a couple different things, but she said, you physically have to push yourself through their door. And that she said, usually once you get inside, you can just tell already if they're going to buy it or if they're not going to buy it. One of their biggest demonstrations is the mattress demonstration. I'm sure a lot of people say no. I read up on some of the complaints, and people were saying, they asked if they could go in my bedroom. I said absolutely not. They showed me carpet discs, and I read some of them where people were saying that they were, what do you want to call it, at their house for 4 hours or 5 hours, being friendly, calling in their boss after the person declines it because their boss is supposed to come in if the salesperson can't handle the sale by themselves and try and come in. And I read one guy saying that they were talking about how you could show it off for 4 days or something like that, and are you just not man enough to, buy, like, a lot of different sketchy sales tactics. And in a way, it is kind of scary, because the only way you're going to sell a lot of these machines, or any for that matter, especially in this day and age where people go to Walmart and just buy vacuums off the shelf, is being extremely pushy and saying rude things and trying to get people. People are gullible, especially guys. They can be offended just by saying, are you not man enough or whatever, and then they, oh, here comes the check, and the financing and all this crap, and whatever else. Now, I understand I just went 8 minutes without even demonstrating the vacuum, and I haven't moved, but Kirby vacuums, there's a lot to be said about them, but I will say this machine impresses me way more than the Kirby that I had in the past. And I think it's because of how new the machine is. I am not very comfortable using used machines, well-used machines. I don't like touching them. I really don't care to have them in my house. I just feel like there's a sanitation issue, and when they're extremely worn out, to me, they're very unpredictable as to what they're going to do. You don't know why the person threw it out. I did that when I was a kid. My uncle owns a municipal waste thing, and he used to bring me the vacuums and everything, and there were 2 Hoover Elite Supremes, and the one would actually start to smell like it was burning after about 10 minutes of being used. And it was a big piece of crap. The person didn't just throw it out for no reason. There was something internally wrong with it. And I'm not bashing anybody who happens to do that, but to me, I don't feel like a used machine could ever have a place in my house where I would see it the same way as a newer machine or a new machine. I just wouldn't trust it. I wouldn't feel as if it was cleaning correctly. To me, it's just like a personal sort of thing. Anyway, this thing is in really great shape. It could use a